So, for this episode, do you think Gazini can measure up to the other ladies in Southeast Asia now that one of the most anticipated girls have already been crowned? So please make sure you watch the full video and see who should we pick for Miss Universe 2019. Hola, you guys may know me as Tita Lavinia from Titas of Pageantry. I am a beauty pageant enthusiast and also a fashion writer for a wedding magazine. Please don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell notification button so that you will be updated with all my ganaps and hanash. Hey guys, I'm doing this review in English because this will involve other contestants from other countries. I know that there have been requests for an English content, and I don't usually do that because most of our viewers are Filipinos and most of the issues that we tackle are from Philippine pageantry. But since Thailand has already crowned their new queen, I think it's just fitting to look into Gazini's chances compared to the other queens that have already been crowned here in Southeast Asia. So usually in Miss Universe, they have around 80 to about 90 contestants, and so far they've already crowned around 32 contestants all over the world. Now, Southeast Asia is one of the most anticipated regions when it comes to sending beauty queens because not only are we very aggressive, we are also very invested nowadays. Some of the countries from Southeast Asia come to the Philippines to train, and I think it has also something to do with the Philippines doing really well in pageantry. That's why a lot of them are following suit. So I will be tackling Gazini later on, but let's introduce some of the ladies from Southeast Asia. The first one is from Cambodia. Her name is Somnang Alena. I hope I am pronouncing that right. She's pretty young. She's only 19. She's 5'7", which is pretty tall. And she's studying international relations. Now, if you look at her photos, she may not look like someone who could compete in Miss Universe because she's very young looking, she's very fresh, she's very feminine. She would probably be more of a good fit for Miss International, but then again, we don't know much about her to really say she's not the right fit for Miss Universe. Now, a lot of the girls from Cambodia have already tapped the Philippine training team, so I'm pretty sure they're going to do a great job packaging her and making her more prepared for Miss Universe. Next on my list is Miss Myanmar. Her name is, please help me out here, Sway Zin Thet. Now, Miss Myanmar and the previous Miss Myanmars, they've been pretty close to us. In fact, one of them was Pia's roomie. So from what I remember, they do really good when it comes to national costumes. They do really well when it comes to their wardrobe. So she is actually someone to watch out for. She competed for Miss Supranational. She reached top 10 in 2016, and you have to check her out because she is 5'10", and she has a really delicate Asian feature. So she's not on the Oriental side, she's more on our side. So if you look at her photos, she projects well on camera. I'm not so sure how she speaks, but she's fresh, her styling is good, so she could be a contender. Next, of course, is Indonesia. If you remember, I created a video before, right after they won. And I know you've corrected me, it's not Puteri, but it's Putri Indonesia. And let's reintroduce her again. So her name is Frederica Cull. She is Indonesian-Australian, and she was born in Australia. She can speak English. I think that was one of the reasons as to why she won. They were trying to make some changes with the way they send girls, and they gave more premium to girls who could speak English. So I don't know if that was the goal. Indonesia has been doing pretty well in Miss Universe. However, they have not reached past top 15. So if they're gunning for a crown, most likely a lot of them at least gun for a top 10 placement. So Frederica is only 19. She's a bit on the shorter side. She's around 5'6" and a half. And well, she's well spoken. There have been a number of features on her. So, you know, we have gotten to listen to her voice. She knows how to speak, she knows how to answer. It's just that, of course, she needs more training. Answering questions sometimes is not enough. You have to be more engaging. And that's what they really have to work on, to listen to Frederica and for Frederica to be more convincing with gravitas, and for Frederica to sound confident. Because right now, whenever she speaks, it seems like she's double checking herself. I don't know if you've observed that with her. So she has to sound convincing. She also has to sound commanding. Now, as with styling, right now they're still in a period of experimentation. So sometimes some of the looks work, sometimes it doesn't. They've already released some photos of her in a swimsuit. So I mean, body-wise, she's skinny, she's pretty toned. They just have to do more sculpting so that she could be Miss Universe ready. So we will see. She's also quite vocal with her social causes like animal welfare or championing providing birth certificates to Indonesians who don't have birth certificates. So I feel that it's pretty ambitious, but if she could be like the voice or maybe the face of that cause, and then she could do really well. But more on Miss Indonesia later on. Next is Miss Malaysia. Miss Malaysia has one of the prettiest faces. Actually, the Malaysians, they do really well when it comes to communication skills. They sound very educated, and most of them are quite educated. They sound good. They're just lacking a little bit in personality. They look great in photos, but I just need to, you know, get to know more of them personality-wise. But her name is Shweta Sekon. Did I pronounce that like Shweta? So Shweta is 21. She is 5'8". She has delicate features. And what she needs to do, well, she's toned in other parts of her body. But if we're going to talk about overall physicality, I think she has to be more Miss Universe ready, if there is such a term. And she has to also work on being more fierce. I've seen some of her editorial photos. She's doing really well. Some of her photos make her versatile, but that's really because of her face. She has a really pretty face. What she has to work on also is to get her materials out there so people could listen to her. I think a lot of these girls have issues with just producing photos and not really showing us what they are capable of communication skills wise. So there. Now, I want to talk about Miss Vietnam, because Vietnam is a region or is a country who's been very aggressive lately. I think they started in 2015. And not just with Miss Universe, they have been sending well-dressed girls and well-packaged girls for Miss Earth, Miss Grand International, Miss Supranational. So they're doing really well with the fashion side of things. In fact, the representative for Miss Vietnam right now, her name is Hoang Toi, or Mia Hoang. Now, Mia is already, if I'm not mistaken, do correct me, is already a household name in Vietnam. She's 27 years old, she's 5'10". You should see her body. It's amazing. She's super toned, super long-limbed. She's known in Vietnam because she actually won the Cycle 2 of Vietnam's Next Top Model and has worked extensively as a professional model, not just in the Asian region, but also in the United States and in Europe. Now, her catwalk is fierce. In fact, there was a competition, an international competition, in which she won a Best Catwalk award. So she's really one to watch out for. Now, the only reason I'm not as warm up to her as I'm supposed to be is because Henny is a pretty difficult act to follow. Henny is endearing. Henny had the model looks, the model body, she had everything, but she was so endearing to everyone. I'm not really seeing that with Mia. I checked her social media platform. She does post photos of her social work, her advocacies, but it's not reflected on most of the pageant pages. So we're not really as focused when it comes to her social work. We are more focused on her editorials. So hopefully within the next few months, she'd be able to bring that out more. Now, let's talk about Thailand. I did not create a reaction video or a review about Pawin Suda or Fasay or Pawin because everybody already did so. So I'd probably be saying the same things as well about the production, about her performance. So whatever it is that you guys have thought about with the production of MUT and how Pawin is or how Pawin was when she competed for Miss Universe Thailand, that's probably the same observations I have. But let's go ahead and reintroduce her as well. So Pawin Sudadruin or Fasay is Thai-Canadian. She's been around, guys. She's competed in several pageants in Thailand, and then the reason as to why she has a lot of Filipino fans was because she was poised to win Miss Earth. Unfortunately, that Q&A or that hashtag challenge got to her and she didn't perform so well. So I don't know if it messed her up, it messed with her head, but hopefully it gave her more of a push to really prepare and do well. And well, she did. So Pawin is 25 years old, which I think is a perfect age for Miss Universe. She is 5'11". She has a summa cum laude degree in kinesiology. Did I pronounce that right? During Miss Earth 2017, she reached a disappointing top 8. And I say disappointing because she was one of the heavy favorites to win the crown. Now, I want to really talk about Pawin because if you round up all the girls in Southeast Asia, I think she's the one everybody is looking out for. Guys, the last time Thailand won Miss Universe was in 1988. They found their second win at around 2015 when Annie Porn competed with Pia. There is a new sense of energy when it came to preparing the Thai girls, not just with wardrobe, but with the overall styling and the overall preparation for Miss Universe. And they have done pretty well since 2015. The Thai team is very, very hungry for a crown. They almost did so with Maria, but Maria faltered in her Q&A. So in just a short span of time, they were able to crown someone Miss Universe worthy. Now, a lot of people are very conflicted about Pawin. As much as we love her as Filipinos, because she's close to Kat and an honorary Filipino, a lot of us also feel that our support for Pawin will diminish our support for Gazini. But let's look at it this way. She has all the goods. She's tall. She's beautiful. She has a perfect mix of Asian and Caucasian. She can speak well. Of course, she had that unfortunate incident in the past. If she can go past that, then good for her. But I think the main criticism about Fasay as to why people are bringing her down or people are not really 100% on board in her is because she's pretty much Cat 2.0. So if they can go past Cat 2.0 with the movements, with the styling, with demeanor, with the way she conducts herself, if she could turn things around and be her own, unless that's exactly who she is, then she really has a huge chance at clinching the crown at Miss Universe. If they can polish her when it comes to Q&A, because as we all know, even if you're the best English speaker, but if you're not highly trained in Q&A, you won't get that far. And that happened to her at Miss Earth. So everyone is really focused on her. It's easy for you guys to say, oh, she's just hyped, oh, you're just hyping her, but there is a reason why she's being hyped. Now, let's throw in Gazini in the equation. Out of the girls that I mentioned, it's going to be very difficult to have all these girls reach the semifinals if the format will still be the same. For Asia and Africa, and we haven't even talked about the African delegation, they're gonna choose only 5 girls. Another set of 5 will be chosen for the wild card, and most likely for the wild card choices, not all of them will be Asian, so we have to pick the strongest Asians from this pool. And we haven't even talked about the other Asian regions, like maybe India, the ones from Israel, the ones from Japan. I'm just talking about Southeast Asia. Not all of these Southeast Asian girls will have the opportunity to enter the semifinals. So the strongest ones for me are the ones who are invested financially and time-wise. And so far, it's actually Thailand. So if we're going head-to-head, Gazini and Thailand, right now, Thailand has the upper hand because honestly, guys, they are next in line together with Brazil. But Brazil is for another episode. Now, Gazini will probably do really well because of the sash factor. And Gazini may not be the brightest when it comes to personality. She's not a Cat. She's not a Pia. She's also not a Rachel. She's not quite as chill as Rachel, but she does have that quiet grace. She's more of an Iris for me when it comes to personality. However, the only difference between Pauwin and Gazini is that when Gazini gets the chance to be on stage, Gazini is a totally different person. Gazini has a huge personality that resonates not just with the way she projects with her eyes, with her face, but her movements as well. And I think this is where Pauwin will have to try and be at par with Gazini because technically Gazini is a silent killer. Yes, she has the backup of the Filipino pageant fans, but we may not agree with how she is with her comm skills or her public speaking skills, but on stage, she is a different person. She will give you a show. So we really have to find out how these Asian girls compete. We really have to find out how Gazini attacks her training to go for that back-to-back win because like what I've been saying, I am realistic. But it doesn't mean a back-to-back will not happen. It is close to impossible, but it is not impossible. So if everything goes according to plan, Gazini will still be up there, and most likely Fasay with the huge fan base will probably get to propel herself and hopefully do really well because there is love, guys, for the Thai team. So please let me know what you think. Do you agree that Fasay is actually Gazini's strongest competition, at least in Southeast Asia, or do we go with the sleeper this year against Gazini? So please comment down below. Oh, by the way, guys, I would like to extend a shout out to some of our friends. This one is for Shara Stark. I know you've been requesting for a content in English. And I also would like to say hello to MC Saligumba. And guys, if you have the time, I have a friend on Instagram, and they do animal rescue, well, cat rescue as well. Please subscribe and like the videos of Coffee's Rescue. Literal, coffee as in kape. So if you want to help out, please check out their Facebook account or subscribe to their YouTube channel.